Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Everquest Old School. Now in this episode we'll be playing my Cleric, who is level 9 now, and we're over in Crushbone at the Trainer Camp. Now this is a pretty good camp from levels anywhere from 4, I would say, is the earliest that you really want to be here with the group. Obviously you wouldn't be able to do it alone. But you can do this one all the way up to around level 10 and still get somewhat decent experience. Around that level, you'd probably prefer to be at the wall or something along those lines, but in a pinch, if this is the only thing you can find, this is a pretty good spot. It does have loot, obviously, from the trainer who spawns. Let's see. Now, I had to put this group together. There wasn't very many people. Well, I mean, there's people on, but for whatever reason, people tend to not want to be the leader. They don't really want to put groups together. I know for some people it's kind of intimidating because they've just never done it before. They don't exactly know, unless you're familiar with the area, you may not know what classes you need. You may not be a big people person, as far as you don't have the social skills to be able to interact with people well enough that you can actually get a whole group together. And then you have to have that leadership quality. You really have to take charge. Some people don't like telling other people what to do, and I'm not one who enjoys it, but if this is the only way that I can get a group at the moment, by putting one together myself, then that's what I'll do. And I'm not going to be, this is what we're doing and there's no turning back. I'll make suggestions, and if everybody's okay with it, then that's what we'll go do. But sometimes just being the person to make that suggestion is enough. In fact, most of the time it is. Just say, hey, why don't we go do this camp? Most people are like, yeah, let's go do that. That sounds perfectly fine to them. They don't really care one way or the other. They just want to have fun, So it does take an extra little something to be the leader in a group. Although sometimes it's incredibly easy if all the work has been done for you, and all you have to do is inherit the leadership, and then just sit back and just kill, because the group has already been made, everybody's already there, and things of that sort. So not always a difficult thing, but if you guys want to see how it's done sometimes, I'll record that. It's kind of boring because it does require a bit of sitting and waiting. You have to find one person, and you got one person. Now you have to keep that one person while you look for more, and that can be a chore in itself, because sometimes you get somebody and there'd be a great pooler, but poolers don't like to sit still, and they don't like to not do anything. So you got to find something for your group to do in the meantime while you're filling it out, because people don't like to just sit there and do nothing. They don't want to sit at the entrance waiting for more people. They want to kill a few creatures. It may be really, really slow killing, but they want to do something. In fact, I think these guys have killed everything up here. Let's see. Okay. So I'm just letting them know that because the guy we have is a pooler, he's never been here before, so he's brand new to this zone, and I'm just letting him know that he can pool from down there. He may not know the rules of the zone. Sometimes, like if you go into Lower Guck and it's completely camped, there are certain mobs that spawn around your room that people consider that room for those pools. And if you go too far away from your room, you'll be considered taking their kills, because people try to share. I mean, granted, there is no defined, this is a room and this is your pools and this is your mobs that you're allowed to kill. There's nothing like that. It's just all open. But people will make these unwritten rules, just etiquette basically for Everquest. And if you're unfamiliar with the zone, you can kind of get into trouble if you're doing things you're not supposed to. So some poolers will be very cautious when getting to a new area. They'll also be cautious because, well, they've never broken those rooms before, and that in itself can be incredibly tricky. As we're doing rotation on the belts, which is nice. It means everybody gets an equal number of belts. Nobody's being too greedy. I know, when I make these videos, and also just as a cleric myself, I usually tend to talk to people, or getting more, busy behind the scenes, and I'll forget to loot. In fact, I've been in groups where I've been with them for 4, 5, 6 hours and never looted once. I just it doesn't occur to me to loot that often. You know, of course, I'll random on something big that drops that I need for my character. But for the most part, the small loot and stuff, I'll just pass on because it's not really that big of a deal to me. I mean, it does make a nice little difference, especially if you're saving up for new spells and you want to sell some of these belts, as I said before, or if you want to level up your character a little bit. If you're not that high yet, you can go ahead and use these belts to turn in for the quest. Now, I've done videos in the past where I show you at different levels the turn-in, so you can see just how much experience I get and whether it's going to be worth it for you at certain levels to stop and no longer, you know, keep turning those in. Because it used to be like, I think it was 1/3 of a bubble for every belt that I turned in, so that's pretty good experience for just something extra that you're already getting off of the mobs that you're already killing for experience. So they're going down so fast. So he's killing them in less than one hit, probably. Down there, he's not even able to pull them because this is pretty low area for him. I was just telling him we could try the Taskmaster. Sorry about that, guys. I was just saying we could try the Taskmaster if it's not already camped, and I'm going to check it after this pool right here. I don't think it is, actually. Let me just drop down there now. Looks like they're doing just fine. So I'll go back just to show them how to get here, because as I said before, we do have some new people. Not to mention that the way is blocked by mobs that are, you know, that we have to kill to get there. So. Waiting or what? Try to make sure everybody sees me. Try not to leave anybody behind. It's kind of frustrating when you're going to a new spot and you kind of get left behind. You feel like nobody really cares, but you're trying to lead a whole bunch of people, you know, by the nose. It does, you know, add up. So who did we lose? We lost JoJo. Let me let this thing go by real quick. Oh no, there he is. No, that's not him. Okay. There we go. Getting a little ridiculous, everybody moving around. get that. Run it. Oh, that hurt. Man, that hurt like crazy. And that is why clerics do not want to get hit. Oof. Okay, so that takes, like I said, a little something when you're moving from one spot to another to make sure that nobody gets left behind. We also have another wizard on the way. He hasn't quite gotten here yet, so may have to do that again when he gets here if he's not familiar with the area. It does pay, though, to get very, you know, accustomed to where the groups are if you're going to be part of a new zone, simply because it's incredibly easy to invite somebody into a group. Now, if they have to work their way down and they're not familiar on how to get there, that can really be a pain for whoever it is that has to go get you, whether it's the pooler or what, because they have to go clear the path, which is not something they mind, because they're going to have to do that regardless, even if you know how to get there. But they have to go lead you down, and leading you down is incredibly hard sometimes because, you know, if you're not familiar with the area, you may not know to hug a wall, and so you're just walking down the hallway and boom, you get an extra room on you, and that sucks so bad. So, you know, again, just try to pay attention to the pooler a little bit, see what he does. You know, if he hugs a wall, he's not doing it for the fun of it, you know. He's doing it because in that specific spot, he's noticed that that is the best tactic to do. What are they doing? Wonder why he was taking so long to pull. I guess he just... There's the Taskmaster right there. In fact, he's up, and he has the little whip that he drops. He also drops an earring as well, or has a chance to drop it. He doesn't always drop it. And I'll show you the loot when it falls. What level are the Taskmasters? Well, they're red to me, so I'm not quite sure what level it is, but... Either way, I think we'll do fine. Let me put my holy armor on him if I don't stop fizzling. It's crazy. I mean, some days you won't fizzle at all, and then other days you'll just completely and totally fizzle on every cast. Of course, the higher your skill is in whatever the spell you're casting, the less you're supposed to fizzle. So you may notice it quite a bit at a lower level that you just fizzle, and that's when it really hurts too, because the spells cost so much power and you have so little of it because you're such a low level. Whereas later on you won't notice it nearly as much, simply because your skill is a lot higher. And when it does happen, it won't be, you know, like the end of the world because somebody's going to die too often, because you do have, you know, more power to pull from. And unless you're just taking on an incredibly hard zone, or you're just wasting your power, you know, because you're just unfamiliar with how to conserve it. I mean, just conserving your power just a little bit is usually enough to get through a fight. You know, it just... You want to wait that extra second, you know? Like on a complete heal, you want to get as much healing done on that character as possible. And it's kind of scary for the tank to get all the way down to like 5-10%, you know? And then poof, all the way back up to full health. But he'll get used to it to the point where if he trusts you, he won't even look for or look at his health anymore. He'll just accept the fact that you're going to do a good job, that you know what you're doing. And if he dies, he dies. You know, it's just something that happens. And usually by that point, by the time you have a complete heal, which I believe is around 49 or 48, I'll have to check to make sure on that one to be sure. But by that point, you have a really good res. I mean, it's not the greatest res. I think you get the best res at level... It actually may be 49. You may actually get the best res at 49. It's like a 96% res. I think it's the best you ever get. So they're going to lose about 4%, which is not too bad. At the very most, it's 4 kills. At the very least, it's probably around 1 to 2 kills. Mobs, anyway. So... Again, they can get that back rather quickly, and it's just, you're not going to die that often, so an extra 4 kills here and there, again, is not that bad. But thing that will happen most of the time if you don't get that complete heal off and the tank dies is the rest of the group is going to wipe as well, because you usually don't have he doesn't know where to pull from. You can pull and I would help if I was talking in group chat. So I was just letting him know he can pull pretty much anything he sees. On average, if you're not quite sure and you see another group nearby, just give them a buffer zone of mobs that they can pull from that are, you know, in between you guys. Don't be too greedy. Try to pull from the opposite direction where there isn't a group. So over here to our right, basically, we have plenty of mobs. To the left is the wall group, so just leave them over there and let them do what they're doing. The farther away you have to pull, the less likely you are to survive the run back. So for most groups, if it's not within eyesight, they're usually not going to pull it. That's not always the case. Yeah, it's the shaman asking or telling us if we need the buffs. I think we could take the Taskmaster. We were able to take these emissaries just fine. Now, granted, I take about 30% damage from one hit, but then I'm not the tank, so... You can see he's doing just fine. I mean, this is probably red to me. Yeah, it's red to me. Yeah, he's just being a little cautious. I think give him another 10-20 minutes and he'll get his sea legs, so to speak, and he'll be more than willing to try the Taskmaster, especially once we get our 6th person in here. And I believe it's going to be a wizard. I don't know what level that person will be, but as soon as they get here, that will completely fill out our group. Yeah. So I was just letting him know that I think we can take him, but if not, we can go ahead and just zone him.